So today we're diving into what AI can do in your WordPress website. And you might already know that 43% of all websites online are powered by WordPress, but most people are still doing things the old way, making changes in the backend manually, when AI can now do this automatically. AI can now do a lot of your SEO work. It can design your pages, your funnels, and even automate things that used to take hours. So I've tested dozens of AI tools across my own WordPress websites, and today I'm going to show you which ones actually work. Let's start with SEO, and you may be familiar with the Rank Math SEO plugin, which is a very popular plugin. It's very similar to Yoast SEO, if you know that. And they have AI tools that you can use directly within the plugins, which can be very useful for most people. And if you are on the paid subscriptions, then you will have a certain amount of credits that you get to use those AI tools. Otherwise, you may have to buy some. But essentially, you can have a bunch of tools that will be useful for both your content creations, but also your SEO research, your metadata, which obviously is going to be a big part of your SEO optimization, and other things that you just used to take a lot of time and now can be done all directly within the plugin. So a lot of this is mostly about creating blog posts and content around SEO topics that you would have done research for. So again, just finding the right keywords and then creating content around that. That's going to make this a lot easier and with the help of AI. And then inside of the blogs, you'll be able to create specific sections that are very SEO optimized. So for example, an FAQ is a great section to have in your blog post. And if it's correctly structured, then that's going to be very beneficial for your SEO. Other things like the company bio or product review. Again, having the right schema is something that's super important, and most people don't really know how to do. So this is a really good way to do that with the help of AI. Some other tools are going to be help with the Open Graph. Again, something else to just improve your SEO. It's going to be helping you to create a schema markup that most people that have a WordPress website have no idea about, but that is very important for SEO. So anyway, so lots of tools to help you just create better content and SEO optimize, all with the help of AI and directly inside of a plugin that you might be already using. Next up, let's look at how AI can help you design pages. And a lot of people, when they have a WordPress website, they don't necessarily know how to do this. They have a go at Elementor or other page builders. They might end up hiring a web designer to do that for them. But now AI can do a lot of things for you. So Elementor has AI features that just allow you to, with natural language, describe the kind of page or the kind of sections that you want, and it will go ahead and create it. So most of the time, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be exactly what you want, but it's going to give you a very good template to start from and then adjust. So I'm in Elementor right now, and this is the AI feature. And as you can see, I can describe what I want as far as layout for this section. I can even have a website as a reference and just in natural language to describe what I would want. You also have a range of suggested prompts. So if I try, for example, this one for a team section, and I go ahead and generate, it's going to be giving me a few variation, and I can just go ahead and pick one. And then, if I want to go ahead and change the text, I can have AI help me edit this text or this particular block within the section. I can change the design, but also the copy. And, just from there, if I don't know anything about Elementor, if I don't know how to design a page, how to build a page technically, I still can go ahead and iterate and build my page with beautiful designs and something that for most people was just not possible before. Now we're going to look into how to connect your WordPress website with automation tools like N8N and how to use this to connect to other platforms and other things that you do in your business. That's really the power of those automation tools. Some things within WordPress can be limited, but once you connect it with an automation tool and other parts of your websites, that's really when you can unlock a lot of things. So in N8N, obviously, you can create a bunch of different automations. One very popular one being turning a blog post that you have in WordPress and using an AI node to then repurpose this into, a post on X, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on other social platforms. Sometimes people will do the other way around, as in they have, something that they post on a social media, and then they want to turn this into a blog post. And the way these automations will work is that you'll just have to go ahead and use the native WordPress node right here, and then just connect your WordPress website with API keys, and then you'll be able to use it into any N8N automations that you want. And obviously, that's opening a lot of options to have AI in the mix to act sort of as a brain in order to manage things in the backend of your WordPress, or just have something happen from a WordPress action. So let's say posting a new blog post, and then having that triggered a bunch of other things that you may want, either to repost on social or to action something inside of your CRM, or to inform or help your marketing or content strategy. There's really a lot of options here, and the sky is the limit. Okay, so this next one is a bit more technical, but let me just take the time to explain what this is. And I'm talking about Link Whisper, which is a plugin that helps you with deep linking within your website. So let's say you have a blog article, just like this one. And this one is about the integration between MailChimp and Kajabi. And within this article, what you want to do from an SEO perspective is that you want to find ways to link this content to other content on your website. And that way you sort of create this web within your content. And that way you find those internal links within your website to create this web and make everything relevant and connected between each other. And it's really hard to do without any SEO tools because you would have to remember as you're writing the article, oh wait, I'm mentioning this thing. I have written a dedicated article about this thing. Once you have, dozens and even hundreds of articles, it becomes really hard to do. So these tools allow you, with the brain of AI, to identify the internal links that you can put in your articles. So for example, here I'm talking about email marketing in this blog post, and it is suggesting for me to add an internal link to another article that I wrote about email marketing for course creators, which is a bit more niche, and that would be a great value add for people reading this blog. And so just like this, I can just tick a box and it will add the internal link. If I wanted to find other articles to link to this current article, I could also do this. These are called inbound links. And again, just with the power and the brain of AI, it's going to be able to understand the content, understand the context, and suggest those different links, which is something that just wasn't possible before. This next one is very simple, but something that can definitely save a lot of hours if you've ever done this manually. And I'm talking about this alt text AI plugin, which helps you create alt text for your images. So if you don't know, in SEO, when you have an image on your site, it's good to have what we call an alt text, an alternative text, to explain what the image is about. And it's just going to help to give more context to the crawler, like Google, to understand what this is about. And this is something that you have to do usually manually. And if you have hundreds of pictures across your website, that can be very time consuming. And what this plugin does is that using AI, it's going to be able to understand the picture and then write this alt text for you. You can do this at the picture level, which obviously is, still fine, but obviously you can also do this for all of the images across your website and create all of those ad text automatically. So very simple, but very useful as well, because that can take a lot of hours and manual work that is really kind of boring. And for this next one, I want to show you a specific case study because that's something that I wanted to add to my own WordPress site. And I wanted to add a widget on the sidebar of my articles where it's going to display my latest YouTube video so that people can go ahead and watch it if they're interested. And usually that would require to either have a lot of custom coding knowledge or to use a plugin. Now, obviously, a plugin from a site speed perspective is not the best. It tends to be very heavy and make your page a bit slower. So I wanted a way to do this via code, and I'm not a developer. So what I did is I went ahead and asked ChatGPT to create a code for me to make it as light and easy as possible. And it went ahead and did exactly that. And all I had to do was to add this code snippet to my functions PHP. Now, I know most people, when they use WordPress, they don't know what functions PHP is, and that's totally fine. You don't have to. I'm using a plugin that's called Code Snippets, and it allows me to inject code into my functions PHP without having to touch the code files. All I have to do is to create a new snippet and then insert the code that ChatGPT gave me, and it should work just fine. And the second part of this was just to add a shortcode into a block for the sidebar of my template for my blogs, and that's what I did. And it gave me exactly what I wanted, which is this right here. And you can go back and forth with ChatGPT to adjust the styling, the way that it displays, and anything else that you want. But again, without knowing anything about coding, without having to use a plugin, without anything else, you can easily implement custom functions, things that were not possible if you were not a developer before. You can do that yourself without any help using AI, using these very simple code snippets that it will give you. Now I want to show you how to make your blog post, your written content in your WordPress site more accessible. Obviously, most people these days are not really used to, sit down and read an article. A lot of people will want to just listen to it, and adding this extra function, this other way to consume your content on your WordPress site can be a massive benefit. Obviously, the more people spend time on your site, the better SEO signals that sends. So what you can do for this is you can go ahead and paste your blog content, your written content in 11 Labs or something else. And you can pick one of the native voice, or if you really want to go fancy, you can create and duplicate your own voice to be reading the article out in an audio format. And what you can do then is to generate the speech. And this will give you the audio version of your article that you can then go ahead and download and embed into your article. Now, this is the manual way to do this. And obviously it takes a bit of time, but can definitely improve the engagement on your article. So that would be worth it. If you want to do it automatically, that's also possible. You would have to use the 11 Labs API and something like NA10 and the kind of workflows that I showed before. Again, very possible, very doable. It would cost you quite a bit in API. So depending on the size of your website, it might be worth it or not, but that's also an option. Now let's talk about multi-language on your WordPress website. A lot of people have tried to, translate the content on their website to other languages to reach a bigger audience. And the way this was possible before was a bit clunky, a bit manual, and the translation wasn't always really good, to be honest. But now with AI and just the sort of the brain that AI can have and context and just understanding of your content, this is a lot easier, and plugins like Wiglot do this really, really well. So all you have to do is to install the plugins. You'll probably have to go with the paid version if you have a big enough website, but you'll actually be able to, properly translate your website in different languages and something that actually makes sense. This will also make it easy on the SEO side of things because, technically it's seen as sort of two different websites, just a different language. So there are some precautions to take here, and this plugin will help you do that. Okay, the last one can take many forms, but can be also very powerful. And I'm talking about an AI chatbot that can be on your website. And you've probably been to websites where you see those in the bottom right-hand corner with a little chat bubble. But essentially, these are usually used as either customer support or sales assistants, but essentially just a way for people to ask questions about your product and what you offer. And you can have this many different ways. Obviously, the best thing to do is to create something like a rack system with all of the information about your product and anything this chatbots would need to know about how you run your business and how you do things. And then when the chatbot will reply, it will check this knowledge and reply to the questions that the customer may have. This can be done using things like NA10, where you would just set up this rack system and then embed the chat on your website. You also have specialized tools to do this, like Custom GPT or others, but essentially it works the same. You would just upload your knowledge base, upload all of your documents about your products and how things works, and then you'll be able to embed the chat on your WordPress site, and it will just live there and answer customers' questions. Again, it can be used in many different ways, but essentially just having a 24/7 customer assistant for people to chat with and have answers to the questions if it's not obvious on their website or if they just can't find what they're looking for. So there you go. You can now go ahead and try those AI tools for your websites and let me know what you think in the comment. If you want to see other ways to implement automations or AI in your business, then go ahead and watch this next video right here. Or if you want to get a weekly email to keep updated with this kind of stuff, then go ahead and subscribe to my free newsletter. That's going to be in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.